He said, "If you don't trust me hanging out with my ex every weekend, maybe we shouldn't be together." I replied, "You're absolutely right." Then I accepted the executive position in San Francisco. I'd been declining it for him. When he texted, "What are you doing this weekend?" I sent a selfie from SFO with my boarding pass clearly visible. I, Isabel Fitzgerald, 36, Senior Marketing Director, had been with Daniel Pierce, 34, for 4 years, living together for 2. Everything was solid until his ex, Natasha Coleman, moved back to town 8 months ago. At my age, 4 years feels significant. My mom had started making comments about grandchildren, my sister kept asking when we'd get engaged, and honestly, I'd started wondering about timelines myself. But Daniel always deflected those conversations with talk about focusing on his art and not rushing into traditional expectations. Suddenly, he had weekend art workshops every Saturday. Except these workshops were just him and Natasha at her studio apartment, exploring creative collaboration and maintaining artistic connections. As a marketing director for a Fortune 500 tech company, I understand professional networking. This wasn't that. When I expressed concern, he hit me with the classic manipulation. "She's just a mentor figure now. We dated for like 6 months in art school. You're being controlling because you don't understand the creative process." He made me feel like my corporate background somehow made me incapable of understanding artistic relationships. Fine, whatever. I tried to be the supportive girlfriend who respected his artistic growth. My work involves analyzing consumer behavior patterns, identifying market trends, and developing comprehensive campaign strategies that reach millions of users. I manage a team of 12 marketing specialists and oversee quarterly budgets exceeding $2.3 million. But somehow, questioning why my boyfriend needed to spend every weekend with his ex made me creatively limited. Then, workshops became Saturday and Sunday gallery visits. Then Friday creative sessions got added because Natasha was going through a tough time with her engagement. The pattern was clear to me. I analyzed data for a living. But every time I raised concerns, Daniel made me feel like I was the problem. The breaking point came 4 weeks ago. I'd been offered my dream job, Executive Marketing Director for the West Coast division of our company's expansion. $155K salary, full relocation package, corner office overlooking the bay, equity in what's positioning to be a major IPO. The kind of opportunity that comes once in a career, especially for a woman climbing the corporate ladder in tech. I'd turned it down twice because Daniel couldn't imagine leaving his artistic community and everything he'd built here. What he'd built was a part-time teaching gig at a community college and a shared studio space he split with 3 other artists. Meanwhile, I was potentially sacrificing a C-suite track position that could set me up for VP level by 40. That Saturday, he was getting ready for his workshop again. Hairstyled with the expensive pomade I'd bought him for date nights, carrying art supplies that cost more than some people's rent, wearing cologne he never wore when we went out together. The irony wasn't lost on me. "You sure you don't want to skip today? We could check out that new exhibition downtown that you've been wanting to see." He rolled his eyes while adjusting his vintage leather messenger bag. "God, Isabel, we've been over this. Natasha and I are collaborating on something important for the upcoming showcase. If you don't trust me hanging out with my ex every weekend, maybe we shouldn't be together." I looked at him for a long moment. 4 years of my life. 4 years of supporting his art career while mine accelerated. 4 years of listening to him complain about commercial art while living in a condo paid for by my commercial success. 4 years of my biological clock ticking while he insisted he wasn't ready for traditional relationship milestones. "You're absolutely right." Finally, "See, I knew you'd understand." "Wait, what?" "You're right. We shouldn't be together." His face went through about 12 expressions, like he was processing a system error. "Isabel, I didn't mean—" "No, you made a good point. This isn't working." I walked to our bedroom and opened my laptop. Email to my future boss. "I'll take the San Francisco position. When would you like me to start? I can be ready in 3 weeks." Daniel followed me, his art supplies clattering as he dropped them. What are you doing? I was just frustrated. You can't just... I'm accepting a job offer. You should probably stay at your parents' tonight or Natasha's. Your choice. Are you seriously breaking up with me over this? You literally just said we shouldn't be together. I'm agreeing with your assessment. He started pacing, running his hands through his carefully styled hair. Not sad energy, angry energy. You're being ridiculous. It's just artistic collaboration. Cool, collaborate away. I'll be in San Francisco building my executive career. He grabbed his art supplies and stormed out. You'll regret this career obsession. Some things are more important than money. 20 minutes later, my phone exploded with texts. Baby, let's talk about this. You can't just end 4 years like this. I'll stop seeing Natasha if it bothers you that much. Isabel, please. This is so immature. We can work through this. I didn't respond. Instead, I started researching San Francisco neighborhoods and calculating my new salary against cost of living. The numbers looked very good. The last week has been illuminating. After our breakup, Daniel went straight to Natasha's. I know because he posted an Instagram story from her studio with paint-covered hands and the caption, "When life gives you creative energy at 3 a.m." Nothing says artistic, collaboration, like 3 a.m. studio sessions immediately after dumping your girlfriend. My best friend Gabrielle texted me, "Did you guys really break up?" He's the one who suggested it. I just agreed. You're moving to San Francisco? Yep, clean slate, executive track position. But he told everyone you'd never leave because you're too attached to your corporate ladder here. My corporate ladder that pays for his art supplies and our condo. Meanwhile, I was busy. Submitted my resignation with 2 weeks' notice, which my boss immediately countered with, "Take 3 weeks and we'll handle the transition remotely." Started researching SF housing markets and neighborhood demographics. Found someone from my company's internal network to sublet my place. The company was covering everything: movers, flights, temporary corporate housing in Soma, the works. Daniel tried to come by the condo while I was packing my home office. I'd already changed the locks, something I probably should have done months ago considering he'd never officially moved in. He wasn't on the lease, just crashed there so much he basically lived rent-free while I covered mortgage, utilities, and groceries. Isabel, I know you're in there. We need to talk. I texted him through the door. Your stuff is in boxes by the door. Please take them. I'm not taking my stuff because I'm not leaving. This is insane. The lease is under my name only. You never officially moved in. Remember, you insisted on keeping your parents' address for financial reasons. That was his tax scheme, claiming he still lived at home to get financial aid for his art classes and avoid paying city income taxes. Backfired beautifully. Sometimes my attention to financial details pays off in unexpected ways. He left, but not before telling our entire friend group I was having a quarter-life crisis and abandoning everything for corporate greed. At 36, quarter life. Sure, Daniel. Apparently, pursuing executive-level career opportunities is a mental health crisis when you're a woman, but a man following his artistic calling is admirable self-actualization. Then the Natasha truth came out, thanks to my colleague Veronica, who works at the same gallery district as Natasha's fiancé, Maxwell Torres. Small world, especially in the arts community. She overheard him on the phone during a gallery opening. Yeah, she's basically single now. Her boyfriend's having some breakdown about her artistic mentorship. No, babe. I told you Daniel and I are just collaborating professionally. Yes, I'm still coming to your sister's wedding next month. What do you mean you saw Instagram? That was nothing. Turns out, Maxwell has been planning their elaborate engagement party for months, sending save-the-dates to 200-plus guests, while Natasha was having workshops with Daniel every weekend. The same weekends when she supposedly had gallery obligations and couldn't see Maxwell. Veronica sent me screenshots of Maxwell's texts in their artist group chat from 6 weeks ago. Guys, you need to see this situation I'm dealing with. This woman I'm engaged to is mentoring her ex-boyfriend. His girlfriend thinks they're having legitimate art workshops. I can't even make this up. I forwarded them to Daniel with one word: interesting. He called 14 times in a row. I was busy booking my first-class flight to San Francisco and researching executive-level corporate housing options. My flight was Saturday at 2 p.m. The same Saturday Daniel had workshops for 6 months straight. That morning, he showed up with reinforcements. His mom, Carol Pierce, and his sister, Hannah Pierce. Full family intervention mode, like I was the one making irrational decisions. "Isabel, sweetheart," Carol started, clearly having rehearsed this speech, "Daniel told us about your career crisis, this sudden decision to abandon your life here and move across the country. It's clearly a cry for help. It's a 40% pay raise, equity participation, and an executive position that puts me on track for VP level within 3 years." Hannah jumped in with the predictable family loyalty. "But what about Daniel? You can't just leave him." "He ended things. I'm respecting his decision and mine." "I didn't mean it literally," Daniel screamed, finally showing some genuine emotion. "Then maybe don't use ultimatums you don't mean. I work in strategic communications, Daniel. Words have consequences." Carol tried another angle. "What about the condo? Daniel's been living here for 2 years." "No, he's been staying here. All his mail goes to your house. He's not on any bills, not on the lease, not on the mortgage. Legally, he's been a long-term guest." "You're really going to abandon him over one little artistic collaboration?" Hannah asked, using the same minimizing language Daniel had perfected. I pulled out my phone and showed them Maxwell's group chat screenshots. The ones where Natasha's own fiancé was discussing Daniel as the ex-boyfriend she's mentoring and referring to their arrangement as a situation that was obviously inappropriate. Silence. Carol went pale reading the messages. Is this real?" Daniel turned red, snatching my phone to read the screenshots himself. "Those are out of context. What context makes his girlfriend thinks they're having legitimate art workshops sound better? You had no right to invade my privacy like this." Veronica volunteered the information because she thought I should know my boyfriend was being discussed in artist group chats as the subject of an inappropriate mentoring relationship. This is called having friends who look out for you. They left after Daniel called me emotionally unavailable and accused me of spying on his artistic relationships. Hannah muttered something about me being too career-focused to understand creative partnerships. Right, because women who prioritize their professional growth clearly can't appreciate art. At noon, I posted on LinkedIn, excited to announce my new role as Executive Marketing Director, West Coast Division. Looking forward to leading our San Francisco expansion and building innovative marketing strategies in one of the world's most dynamic tech hubs. San Francisco, here I come. New chapter, Executive Life, West Coast Bound. The professional response was immediate and overwhelmingly positive. "Congratulations, huge career move. Isabel, you're absolutely killing it. So inspiring. Can't wait to see what you build out there." At 1:30 p.m., while boarding, Daniel texted, "What are you doing this weekend? Can we talk?" I sent back a selfie from the gate with the San Francisco departure board clearly visible behind me. His response, "This isn't funny, Isabel." "Not trying to be funny. Boarding starts in 10 minutes. You're seriously leaving? You seriously thought I'd stay after you chose your ex over our relationship and our future?" I didn't choose her. Every weekend for 6 months says otherwise. Actions speak louder than artistic collaborations. I'm coming to the airport. I'm already through security. Goodbye, Daniel. Then I turned off my phone and enjoyed my first-class upgrade, courtesy of the executive relocation package. Life in San Francisco is incredible. The corporate housing they provided exceeded every expectation. Floor-to-ceiling windows with Golden Gate views, modern kitchen perfect for the entertaining. I never did because Daniel preferred authentic hole-in-the-wall places, walking distance to our downtown offices. My new team is brilliant, diverse, and actually excited about innovative marketing strategies instead of seeing commercial success as selling out. I'm leading the West Coast expansion for our mobile platform division, managing a $4.2 million quarterly marketing budget and developing partnerships with Silicon Valley startups that could revolutionize our user acquisition strategy. For the first time in years, I'm intellectually challenged and professionally fulfilled. My ideas aren't dismissed as too corporate or lacking creativity. But the drama back home didn't stop. Daniel went nuclear on social media, posted this rambling manifesto about how I abandoned him without warning and refused to work on our relationship and chose money over love and couldn't understand that artistic partnerships require trust and freedom. The comments were brutal, though. Didn't you basically dump her for Natasha? Bro, you posted stories from Natasha's studio every weekend for months. Team Isabel TBH. She deserved better. Wait, you gave her an ultimatum and you're surprised she chose herself? He deleted it within hours, but screenshots live forever. Then came the truth bomb that changed everything. Maxwell Torres, Natasha's actual fiancé, found out about the artistic collaboration when he discovered Daniel's contact information in Natasha's phone under workshop partner with heart emojis. He reached out to me on Instagram. Hey, you don't know me, but I'm Natasha's fiancé. Or was, until yesterday. I saw your ex's posts about you leaving for San Francisco. Natasha told me you were psycho and obsessed with Daniel because you couldn't handle artistic mentorship. I'm guessing that's not the whole story. I sent him everything. The workshop lies, the screenshots from Veronica, the timeline of their collaborations, the Instagram stories from 3 a.m. studio sessions. Maxwell was devastated but grateful for the truth. Then he sent me something that made my executive-level strategic thinking kick into overdrive. Screenshots of Natasha's texts to her art school friend. Daniel's just lonely since his girlfriend works all the time. She's totally neglecting him for her corporate ladder climbing. He needs real creative inspiration, not someone who thinks art is a hobby. Yeah, he's talented, but nothing compared to my Maxwell, obviously. His girlfriend's kind of basic anyway, probably makes like $60K doing marketing for some boring tech company. I made $120K in my previous role. Now I make $155K plus equity that could be worth mid-six figures if our IPO goes as projected. But sure, Natasha, tell me more about basic corporate careers. Maxwell dumped Natasha spectacularly, posted all the screenshots on his Instagram story with detailed captions about artistic collaboration being code for emotional affairs, tagged it matcha cheaters, exposed hush workshop. My ass had artistic collaboration. The art community in our hometown is small and interconnected. Everyone saw it. Daniel called me from 3 different numbers, increasingly desperate. Isabel, you need to control your new friend Maxwell. He's destroying my reputation in the art community. Not my friend, not my problem. You created this situation. This is between me and Natasha. You had no right to expose our private business. You had no right to use me as emotional and financial backup while pursuing your ex every weekend. But here we are. We weren't pursuing anything. It was legitimate artistic collaboration. Daniel, I literally don't care anymore. I'm building an executive career in San Francisco. Deal with your own mess. He tried to spin it as Natasha, seducing him into an inappropriate mentorship dynamic. Natasha tried to spin it as Daniel manipulating her artistic process for his own emotional needs. They deserved each other, but apparently they couldn't even make that work. So Daniel tried to play the ultimate manipulation card. He flew to San Francisco, showed up at my corporate building downtown. Security wouldn't let him in. God bless professional office policies and visitor management systems that actually function. So he waited outside for 3 hours until I came out for my lunch meeting with potential venture capital partners. Isabel, we need to talk. How did you even find my building? Gabrielle follows your work colleague on LinkedIn, saw the building tagged in her story about your team lunch. Stalker-level social media investigation skills that he could have used to build his own professional network instead. Daniel, you can't be here. I have meetings. I flew 3,000 miles. The least you can do is have coffee with me. Against my better judgment, and probably my executive assistant's advice, I agreed. 1 coffee, public place, 30 minutes maximum. He looked rough. Hair unwashed, same flannel shirt he'd been wearing in his Instagram stories for a week, paint stains that looked more like desperation than artistic expression. "I made a terrible mistake," he started, clearly having rehearsed this speech during his cross-country flight. "Which one? The ultimatum? Lying about workshops? All of it?" "All of it, Isabel. I thought I could have both. I thought you'd always be there." "Why would you think that?" "Because you always were. You never stood up to me, never called me out. You thought I was a doormat." He started crying, actual tears streaming down his face in the middle of a busy San Francisco coffee shop. "That's not— Isabel, you were my foundation, my support system. I took that for granted. You took me for granted while pursuing your ex for 6 months and making me feel crazy for noticing. It only got physical twice." "Oh, just twice. My bad. That makes it completely fine then." "I mean, it didn't mean anything to me. Neither did our relationship, apparently, or my career, or my feelings." He pulled out his phone with shaking hands. "Look, I've changed. I blocked Natasha on everything. I'm seeing a therapist. I'm working on myself." "Good for you, genuinely. But I've moved on." "You've been here 6 weeks. You can't have moved on." "I moved on the moment you said we shouldn't be together. I just took your advice and built something better." Then he played what he thought was his ace card. "I've been having panic attacks about losing you. I can't eat, can't create art. You're destroying my creative spirit." I laughed. Actually laughed out loud in that coffee shop, drawing stares from tech executives having their own serious conversations. "My success isn't responsible for your mental health, Daniel. That's what therapy is for. And maybe, just maybe, your creative spirit was never that strong if it depended on having a girlfriend subsidize your lifestyle." His face crumbled completely. "I know I don't deserve it, but I need you to care." "I did care. For 4 years. You just didn't notice until I stopped." He flew back that same day, but not before sending one last manipulative text. "I'll wait for you. However long it takes, I know you'll realize what we had." I blocked him on everything. Remember how I said Daniel would wait? Yeah, that lasted about 3 weeks. He started dating someone new, Kennedy Walsh, a ceramics instructor from the community college where he teaches part-time. Posted constantly about how the right muse comes when you're working on yourself. And sometimes your artistic soulmate is in the clay studio all along. And authentic love doesn't need corporate validation. Gabrielle sent me the tea. She's basically living at his parents' place already. Been like 2 weeks. Pattern's gonna pattern, girl. But here's where karma got creative. Natasha reached out on LinkedIn, of all places. "Hey, Isabel, heard you're absolutely killing it in San Francisco. Actually, just got a gallery opportunity there myself with the Morrison Contemporary Collective. Would love to buy you coffee and clear the air between us powerful women. This absolute walnut thought we'd be artistic sisters now that we were both successful and independent. No thanks. Good luck with your gallery work, though." "Come on, Isabel. Water under the bridge. Daniel meant nothing to either of us." "That's exactly the problem, Natasha." She took the gallery position anyway. Guess where her studio space was? Same building as my corporate gym in Soma. Because San Francisco's art district and financial district overlap in the most inconvenient ways possible. I ran into her in the lobby during my 2nd month with some young artist who looked about 22 and clearly worshipped her every creative breath. "Isabel, girl, this is Phoenix Rivera. Phoenix, this is my old friend Isabel from back home." "We're not friends, Natasha." Phoenix looked confused, glancing between us like she'd walked into some corporate art world drama she didn't understand. "Don't be like that, woman. We're both successful, independent artists now." "I'm not an artist. I'm an executive." Phoenix Googled Natasha that night out of curiosity. Found Maxwell's tagged posts from months earlier, the screenshots, the whole artistic collaboration exposure. Dumped Natasha via the building's artists' WhatsApp group by accident instead of texting her directly. "Natasha, I can't believe you're the workshop cheater from those Instagram stories. This is so gross. We're done." 63 artists in that WhatsApp group saw that message. The gallery coordinator started calling her workshop lady within a week. Daniel's relationship with Kennedy exploded exactly as predicted. Shocking development. Kennedy was also just collaborating with her ex-boyfriend, Marcus. They had pottery sessions every weekend where Marcus helped her explore new ceramic techniques and push creative boundaries. Daniel found them in a very compromising glazing position during what was supposed to be a solo studio session. He messaged me on WhatsApp, forgot to block him there. Now I understand how you felt. I'm so sorry. Kennedy was doing exactly what I did to you. I left him on read for 3 days, then responded, pattern recognition is a valuable life skill. But the real karma came from the most unexpected source possible. Remember how Daniel claimed he lived with his parents for financial reasons? Well, someone with access to city tax databases reported him for education fraud and tax evasion. That someone may have been Gabrielle, who works in municipal tax assessment and takes fraud very seriously. Daniel owed 3 years of back taxes, student loan fraud penalties, and interest. About $23,000 total. His parents had to bail him out financially, but only after making him move back home for real this time and take a full-time teaching position instead of pursuing artistic freedom on their dime. Meanwhile, my 6-month review in San Francisco came with another raise and equity increase. The company wants me here long-term for our IPO launch next year. I said yes immediately, and yes, I am seeing someone. His name's Quentin Brooks. He's an architect specializing in sustainable urban development, thinks the whole workshop story is hilarious, actually supports my career ambitions, and has exactly 0 exes he needs to collaborate with every weekend. Daniel's last Instagram post was about growing through what you go through. And sometimes the best thing someone can do is leave so you can find yourself. Comments were turned off. To everyone who said I should have fought for the relationship, why? He literally told me we shouldn't be together if I couldn't handle his artistic collaborations. I simply agreed with his assessment. To those saying I was too harsh, I turned down a life-changing opportunity twice for someone who was cheating on me every weekend while calling me controlling. I wasn't harsh enough. And to those asking if I regret leaving, I'm making almost double my previous salary, living in one of the world's most innovative cities, dating someone who actually respects my ambitions, and Daniel has to see my LinkedIn updates about executive success every time his algorithm shows him my posts. My only regret is not taking the job the first time they offered it. Oh, and Daniel, since I know you still check my socials with fake accounts, Quentin and I are planning a weekend trip to Napa Valley. Don't worry though, it's not with his ex-girlfriend. He doesn't need workshops to be fulfilled. Cheers from the C-suite.